What up? What up? What up? Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grind Show brought to you by the Off the Bench Podcast Network. Today, we got a doozy. We got some more Palm Beach Breakers stars coming at you. Today, we're going to be talking to Kirsten Therrien, who has an interesting story. Her journey of being in grid, taking a little brief hiatus, and now she's back with the Breakers, ready to do big things. As you know, we've talked to a lot of the new breakers, a lot of the veteran breakers over the past few weeks, and they're ready for this 2025 season. They say it's new, it feels different. Everything that they've been telling me, everything that I've seen on social media is backs all of that up. From outside competitions to practice to testing new things. If you don't know what they're about, you should check them out because they're doing some wild things on social media. But before we get to the show, the cold snap, it's gone. I know I've talked for months on end about how cold it is here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, that's no longer the case. It's back in the 80s, and I got to make sure that the AC stays running now. So I got to pay the bills around here. So I got to plug these sponsors. The Off the Bench Podcast Network's Grit and Grind Show is brought to you by Chinook Seedery. 8 flavors, mild to wild, best sunflower seeds in the game. You know that college baseball season starts in a matter of days. That's right, I said days. Valentine's Day might signify the day of love for some of you, but for a lot of us, it signifies the start of college baseball season. And with that, make sure you have plenty of sunflower seeds in stock, ready to roll for your favorite team when you go to your games. Local convenience store, local gas station, local supermarket, you name it. Go in, go to the snack aisle, find the bag. Chinook Seeds, best in the game. We got Memphis City Designs. Get your brands, gear, and logos on everything from shoes to underoos. Memphis City has you covered. Dr. Vic Robinson with Relief Chiropractic. He's got the magic hands. He's rejuvenating people. He's adding years to their lives. I'm telling you, if you want a prescriptive, a tailor-made plan that's going to meet your needs, go see Dr. Vic. He's going to give you a free consultation, and he's going to sit down with you, address your needs, and he's going to put together the program that matches what you need done for you so that you can feel your best self. And finally, Old Dominick Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis, from bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin. Old Dominick's got you covered. Stop in today for a tour or just to pick up your favorite bottle. And with that, you can keep the AC on. We can keep these lights on one more day. But we got to get to business. We got to do what we do best, and that's bring on to the show Palm Beach Breaker star Kirsten Therrien. Kirsten, what's up?
Hey,
How are we doing today?
good. How are you?
I am blessed. Another week has started. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is Sunday the start of the week? Is Monday the start of the week? I don't know. It's kind of debatable, but we'll just say this. It's a new week, and my feet hit the floor, and I moved around, so I'm good. Things are moving in the right direction, so I can't complain too much. I will start off, I kind of scour social media looking for things and topics on people and kind of see the stories of guests that we have coming on, and you're no different. But the first thing I realized is you have 4 dogs, and I'm always I have this affinity for dogs, and I love dogs. And so when somebody puts out there that they're a mom of 4 dogs, I gotta ask, like, how many, like, how did you come to the fact that where you needed 4 dogs? Because I have 1 and I love my 1, and I had 2 at one time and it was too much. Like, I'm now down to 1, and I'm like, I'm good with 1. So 4 dogs, like, how do you get 4 dogs? Like, do you just feel bad for all the dogs? And
Well, the first dog needed a friend, and then the dog after that needed a friend. But no, when my fiance and I got together, he had a dog, and we just ended up getting a second one, and then our friend adopted a rescue. So we're just looking through the rescue website, and we see this like 3-legged dog. We're like, oh my god, he needs a home. And then I followed the rescue on Facebook and saw this dog in a shelter in Texas, and he said, he has 24 hours left, like his time's up in the shelter. And I'm like, oh my God. So I typed, if he could find a ride up to Massachusetts, like he has a home. And they're like, oh, we know you have Taco. So they sent him up, and here we are with 4. But
I mean, four dogs. That is crazy. But I feel you on the rescue part. My wife and I, we our dogs have been rescue dogs, and we have a golden retriever now. And the question that they ask when you do the application for like the adoption is, would you be willing to have multiple? My wife says yes, and I immediately was like, no, because the minute you put yes, you're gonna come home with 2 because they're gonna show you 2 or match you with 2, and then you're gonna feel obligated at that point. But we are blessed to have our golden retriever, and she's great. She's good for our family, and it just makes you feel good when you can rescue a dog, especially when they tell you they got 24 hours, and you're just like, man, that's just
yeah,
not
just,
fair. They didn't choose that, so good on you for doing that. But obviously, we got to talk about fitness. All right.
mhm.
Um, when you think back on your story, how did you get into fitness? A lot of people, they play sports growing up, and it kind of just inevitably they find fitness through sport. But there's other people who are like, I needed to change something in my life, and I found a gym and I fell in love with it. So for you, what was the case? How do you find fitness?
I started off playing sports in school. That's what brought me up to where I live now in Massachusetts for college. I was a coxswain on the crew team in college, so I wasn't actually working out. I'd work out alongside the team, and it's involved in sports, throughout school and throughout college. And after college,
Now, let me ask this because I've never met anybody that has done crew. Um, I mean, I've heard about it. I know like how grueling it can be. But as the coxswain, do people like are they pissed that you just stand up there and bark orders, or do you like really like get in the trenches when it's practice time and like get after it? Like, because like I think I could be a great coxswain as long as none of the other stuff came with it. If it was just sitting up there like commanding, I could do that.
yeah, that was my approach. When it's, winter season and we're all in the gym, and I'd strength train with them, and I'd hit the hard, pieces on the rower with them. And but it's more, and this is how I approach, my job as well. It's more like developing a relationship and not like demanding the respect, but like earning it. So it's more of a, developing a relationship and knowing like what makes each of my rowers, tick. And yeah,
Knowing the right things to push the right buttons,
yeah, that's
you know.
exactly what it is.
Um, you so fitness for you just kind of came with sport, and obviously, when it comes to crew, it's rowing at the highest level, and it's if you've ever been on a roller or been in a boat, rowing a boat, it's very different. It's similar in a sense, like the muscle movements and the things that you use, but like I feel like it's very different in regards to being in water with other people having to rely on things moving very fluidly in the right manner as opposed to you singularly being on a rower doing the work.
Right. 8 people being in sync with every little movement, like your hand levels matter, your balance and all that versus one person just, going to town on a rowing machine. So yeah,
Yep.
similar muscle movements, but the whole team aspect adds a whole other thing.
And you're sitting there like the puppet master, just
Yes, I have
saying and doing and
I could steer, and I have my microphone, and I'm the eyes and the ears and the brain of the boat. They're the engine room.
so eventually you get into a lot outside of having 4 dogs, firefighter, gym owner, level 2 coach. You're a master, I think, what was it, nutrition and
Yeah, with
uh
precision nutrition,
yeah,
master health coach, which is like their second level.
and you have your own business there, and you're a former grid player who's now going back to grid. Like how do you balance all that? I just like I feel stressed when I have one thing pop up on the schedule, and now it's like 2 or 3 different things that I gotta juggle, but I have all day, but, like, you're juggling all of these things, and it's just I just don't understand. How do you make time for it all?
I mean, I feel like I thrive off of that. Like yesterday, it was a snow day. Sure, it was a Sunday, but still, we shut down the gym, and it was a snow day up here in Massachusetts. And I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm like, I feel a little bit uneasy not having anywhere to be at a certain time. So I kind of thrive off the, not having a packed schedule. Downtime's still important, but I like being organized and having a fiance who's so supportive of all of my endeavors. He often encourages me to like slow down. Like you can't take on anything else. So he's like my balance. But my Google Calendar is everything, and that would be how I manage it.
I mean, you definitely when you have all of that in combination, you definitely have to be a planner and you gotta have a system for making sure things are time efficient and you're blocking off the schedule for things that are obviously that you have to do, but also things that are important to just being able to relax and have that extra other side of the balance where you're spending time with family, you're spending time with bathing 4 dogs, and like I saw that. I mean, that's like I have one to bathe and it's chaos, and like you
Mm.
do it 4 times in an hour. Like I think it takes me a full hour just to do one, and luckily she likes the water and we have a pool, and so like
Okay.
once she's in the pool then it's a lot easier to get her and give her a bath, and in the summer it's almost a daily occurrence, but in the winter it's a little different. But how do you originally find grid? How do you come across grid, because you're now getting into it for a second time, but when you first got in it, how did you find it?
Yeah, so I guess to finish, like, bridging, like, how I got into sports. So after college, I got into running for quite a while. Then I was just looking for something different. I got involved with the fire department. I was looking to go, full-time career. So something with a little more strength training I needed. And then I ended up finding CrossFit. And and then the gym that I'm at currently, actually the gym that I own now, one of the owners at the time, he's like, "Hey, there's this I follow this thing on Instagram, like the Florida Grid League at the time, and they do these grid trials, and you should try it out. Like, I think you do pretty good." So it was he brought it to my attention, and I figured, all right, I'll give it a shot. It's a couple bucks to sign up. I could do some of these tests. I like these movements. Some of these There's a lot of wild gymnastics things that I could never do, but I can give some of the more normal things a shot. So yeah, I found it through the grid trials, and then Matt Hornaday from the Breakers reached out to me, and I said, all right, Florida's warm. I like warm weather. Let's give this a shot.
So Massachusetts, you've been there the whole time through your grid career.
Yes.
Um, Early on, so I've talked to players, and the remote aspect of being on a grid team is very unique. It's unlike any other sport. I mean, obviously, in other professional sports, you have players that have residence in other cities, not where they play, but in grid you're able to do that, but also like practice remotely. Like in other professional sports, like you have to be physically at practice, so it's kind of nice to have this remote aspect, and it just proves the point. Like it opens eyes to the sport in places that you never would have thought. Like when you're in Florida and you've got 8 grid teams at the time, like there's unbelievable to me that you are finding players in Massachusetts, in New York, in New Jersey, in Texas, but that's the case. And now that the grid league has expanded to what it is today, like you're seeing more and more of that, especially now with the Daytona team moving out to Las Vegas and the Houston team being the newest addition to the league. So you're only going to see that more and more. But for you, why when you first started grid, what was the thought like as far as the evolution? Did you think it would be what it is now? Or were you thinking, oh, this was just kind of the flavor of the week and it'll probably be around, but it won't expand too much. It is what it currently is now. That's what it will be. Or were you like, yeah, this is the next big thing, like this is gonna blow up?
Yeah, I saw a lot of potential in it. And one of the things that made me more comfortable, traveling down there and being an athlete not in Florida was hearing that other teams already had athletes that did this. So, it didn't seem that weird to me being someone from out of state going to a team where most people live in that area of Florida. So that was helpful. But yeah, I saw a lot of like before I do anything, I like to research it. So I checked out their Instagram, checked out a bunch of their history, saw how it used to be like I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, but like a pro grid league. And then that stopped. And then people in Florida wanted to do it. And then so they're building it back up. Um, working on building it back up. So, and I talked to a fellow gym owner over in Rhode Island. And he used to be on one of the like pro grid league teams. So he told me a little bit about it. And yeah, I wanted to be part of this and kind of see it as it grows again, and just be part of something that is full of like kind of forward thinking people at the top who are looking to try new things. And through being an athlete trying to get sponsorships, there's a little bit of like sales to go along with it. So learning how to kind of like sell like yourself and grid to potential sponsors. So just an opportunity for growth in a couple different things, and just to be in a league of kind of like-minded people who like fitness, like it at a high level, and are looking to, spread the word about this. Made
Yeah,
me
it's
fit.
yeah, it's definitely interesting because you're almost like once you're a part of a team, you're almost like your own business entity by trying to get your own sponsors for yourself.
Mhm.
Obviously, you make a percentage of merchandise sold. I mean that helps. You can create some of your own things, but also like the more marketable you make yourself, you only allow the team more access to those eyes and those products, and it's just kind of a nice little difference in professional sports that not other professional sports have that same setup, which is nice. Why did you transition away from grid the first time?
So I played in 2021 and 2022. And then the following year, a lot was kind of coming on my plate up here in Massachusetts. Like I was studying for promotion to lieutenant. I was taking like a bigger role in the gym. So just I needed to take a little bit to not travel down to Florida every
Right.
month or so, and just kind of focus on some things up here. And then, I got a little bit away from competing and like developing myself as a competitor, and more into developing other people, really into coaching, and kind of cultivating like kind of what I wanted to make of the gym, and that sort of stuff, like from the owner side of things. But what encouraged me to come back and play again this year was my fiance and I were just sitting in the living room one evening, and he goes, you know what? Like I told him I'd been talking to Matt a little bit, like, am I going to play? Am I not? And he's like, you know what? I miss you playing grid. Like I miss you having that thing to train for. And because I'm always like training other people, I'm always trying to get other people to build them up
Right.
and be their best selves. But I needed to bring the focus back on like, how can I build myself up so I can contribute to a team? Like, yeah. So that I needed that thing to work towards this year.
So what when you play grid and you follow it, you know where the teams are located, and so why choose the breakers? Was it Matt? Was it just the familiarity, or was it just easier to reach out to him and kind of test the waters to see if they needed somebody? How do you choose the breakers out of all the other teams in the league? Why was it the breakers?
Yeah, so it was a couple things. So first, after the grid trials, like I was talking to a couple different teams, and it really came down to what openings they had. So there's the strength players, there's the gymnastics or the body weight specialists, and then there's the utility players. So like I said before, I can't do any of these wild gymnastics movements like the butterfly ring muscle ups. Though I was watching an Instagram tutorial from another one of the players on how they're done, and I just this is just so far beyond me. But so they had an opening for a utility player. So it came down to that. And also just Matt was super easy to talk to, super welcoming. And, me coming up here from Massachusetts, I wanted to feel comfortable with the people that I was going to be working with.
Absolutely. When you meet up with a team, having the more familiar faces is always helpful, especially when you're traveling from Massachusetts down to Florida to compete. You want to make it as easy of a transition as possible. But then on top of that, having a spot where you can earn your way to playing time, like that matters. Like there's no reason to make that journey if they don't feel like they have a spot for you,
Right.
because it is money and it is time. And when you in your regard, like you think about it for you, like you have other clients, you are doing things, and when you take time out of your schedule, that means, yeah, I'm going down there, but if I'm not going down there and I'm able to contribute or have a spot, then that means I'm taking time away from other people that need my help. And I know the one thing that you said you wanted to focus on was, helping other people, and getting back to helping yourself was key too. But um, you know, going back to the balance, it's just one of those things, being able to balance it all. Why did you feel like now was the right time? Are you in a spot where you're with the fire department, you're solidified on the position that you're in, and the gym is in a good spot, and your own business, it's good, and the dogs are self-sufficient? Like, why is now the right time to get back into it?
So I've settled into a routine with the gym ownership side of things. And while, as any gym owner would know, like it's always something different every day, something's always coming up. But in terms of how I manage it all, I feel like I'm into a rhythm with it now. And with the fire department, so I'm actually, like an hour ago, I'm studying for like the next promotion, but that exam will be over by the time grid season starts. So it's a different timeline than previous years too. And yeah, I just feel like I'm in a good groove with some things, and I wanted something where like I could be a contributor, something that I could like bring my best self to something. I don't know if I'm saying this well, but like something I could do to build myself up to bring my best self to contribute to something bigger.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, it's a passion for you too. It's another level of testing yourself, and bettering yourself, but it's another challenge. You put a challenge in front of yourself and go, all right, I want to work towards something. So this is what I want to work towards. Um, and when you look at it in terms of working towards this, what is it that you're working towards for this season back? Like, what is your goal? Like, what's your personal goal? Is it to just compete in the season and do the best you can, or is there like, I want to be able to compete in X amount of races in every match, or like, or you even think about that?
Yeah, so Matt and I kind of haven't figured out which matches I'll be in for, just so I can plan travel and whatnot. And also on the fire department, like for some races, I may need to take some time off of work, so that takes a little bit. It takes planning for everybody, but um, so we kind of have that figured out. And what was what was the other thing you asked?
Just like, what is the personal goal? Is it just to
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
say I completed this season and got back into it, or is there actually like a tangible like goal that you're wanting to like achieve?
Yeah, so this season we want to make it all the way through the season. Like we don't want the season to end with the regular matches. So contributing as best I can to that. But in terms of any numbers or whatnot, I'm just looking to be able to perform a bigger variety of movements than I had in the past, whether it's skill wise. I know in the past, ring muscle ups were a little iffy for me, but just I've been building that skill over, the last several years, and building some other skills and strength and being comfortable in these odd positions. So just looking to be like a more like broad utility player.
Yeah, it's honestly, that's what makes you marketable. That's what gets you in races and in matches, when you can do a majority of the elements, not the body weight stuff, not the gymnastic
I'm not
stuff.
going to be doing any butterfly ring muscle ups.
Um,
Do the burpee
what
pullover. but I'm a little bit short, so the bar is really high.
What is the what's training look like for you? So now that you know that you're getting back into grid, are you starting to incorporate elements of grid into your training, or is there like a specific day, like, on Thursdays is when I do all my grid stuff, or is it kind of I'm throwing elements into most of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so I'm continuing my regular training. So I don't follow any specialized training. I follow what my gym does for programming, just because I think that's just really important for like the person at the top to be doing the same thing that everyone else does. Especially because I'm no games athlete. Like I don't
Do
require specialized training. What was that?
do you program for the gym?
So I used to up until a couple months ago, and you were asking like how you manage everything. That was one thing that weighing the benefits and the pros and the cons. We're now working with a gym in Rhode Island and following their programming. So still not like a big box sort of thing, but um, I took something that I know I'm not the expert in, and I found an expert, and then so that's how I manage that. But so yeah, following that programming, but my schedule rotates. So some days I have more time than others. So on days when I have a little bit of extra time, maybe 30, 45 minutes before I coach a class or something, or if I have time after class, that's perfect to throw in some grid stuff and testing elements. After class is perfect. So I'm a little bit tired. That's what you're going to be in the match, and so seeing what realistically I could do out on the grid.
Yeah, always good to, practice those elements under fatigue because most of the time that's how you're going to feel when you do any type of these elements is it's very rare that you're going to be like, "Oh, I feel so good right now. Like I can't wait to do this." It's usually not the case. Um but yeah, when you look at the Breakers season last year, not what they were accustomed to and not what they were hoping,
Mhm.
you did last season's performance have any like, determination on whether you wanted to come back and play again? Because obviously if you're making the trip, you want to make sure that it's competitive. And if people aren't taking it seriously or it's tough to fill roster spots. And I'm not saying that was the case. I'm just saying in general, like teams that struggle these are some of the reasons. Um, but was that even a thought of last year's success or non-success in regard to you getting back into this?
No, I mean, I would like Matt got me into this from the start. Like I am loyal to the Breakers, and I wanted to come back to the same team. And in
Right.
terms of timing, that was purely just stuff on my own plate.
I mean, Matt's a sweet talker too. Like he has
Yeah, and he was talking to my fiance too. They get in touch and they're like, "Oh, Kirsten's got to play again." So the two of them were talking on the side too.
he
But no,
he
it's a good group of people, and I wanted to come back to the Breakers.
he knows what it's like to be the coxswain. He knows the right buttons to push and
Yep,
the right
yep.
things to say. So like he gets it.
Mm.
He's a salesman too. Don't let him fool you. He,
Oh
he
yeah,
sells houses and stuff. He knows the right things
real
to say.
estate guy.
Um, but for you, how do you or what are you going to bring to the Breakers? What's new? What can you say? By the Breakers signing you, this is what they're getting.
So they're getting a utility player who I saw my weaknesses in previous years. I saw a little bit, places I could put in a little bit more time or working on certain movements. We've also adjusted how we're, setting ourselves up for the season in terms of practices and like getting together early in person. Like I'm heading down in about a month for a like in person
Nice.
weekend long like team camp. So just having that information earlier on the matches, who's doing what's it going to look like. Um, I'm going to be able to prepare more so than I was able to in previous years when we had a different approach. But just the last 2 years of like development and working on skills, just getting an athlete who's like learned some things along the way, and I'm just ready to bring it back to the team.
Nice. When I talked to Matt, one of the things he harps on is like, I want to have experience on my team. And he's done that. He's able to retain some players, but now he's going out and he's getting players like yourself who have experience, with the sport and know what they're getting into. But he's also signed other players from other teams that didn't re-sign with their original team because he wants to have that veteran leadership. He wants to have that small amount of like that learning curve,
Mhm.
that takes place. Because the one thing I think that rookies have a tough time with is the speed at which you have to move. Because in a gym, like everything is a lot more controlled and like you can go fast, but like if you're competing with the person next to you in your class and they're not going as fast as you think, but you're maintaining with them, that's going to be your barometer for success is who's the best person in this particular class. But when you get on the grid, you don't know who the best person is. So like the speed that you think you can move, like it just has to be faster.
Yeah. Like,
So having that efficiency and having that belief and not having that learning curve while dealing with that, like, is super helpful. Um,
yeah, it's a whole different
Moving
world. Like putting yourself up against like the best of the best out there, and like you think you're fast, but it's not that fast. You got to be faster.
right.
Yeah.
I hear the dogs in the background.
Oh man.
I have to ask, all right,
Yes.
you have 4 of them. What kinds of dogs are we looking at?
So there's two of them. I'll sum it up with two of them are lab mixes, two are bull terrier mixes.
All right.
Um,
Who's your favorite? Do you
oh,
have a favorite?
I can't pick a favorite. No, the oldest one, she's just the sweetheart, and like she basically came trained. Like she is just the perfect, like sweetest dog. So in tune with your emotions. Everyone has like their role though.
Yeah, it's definitely the day when my wife and I had 2 dogs. It was clear who her favorite was and who my favorite was because there was only one dog that liked me.
No.
They both like my wife, but, like, one dog was very fond of me, and so, like, that was nice. We had our own little dogs, and don't get me wrong, I loved her little dachshund, and he was a good little shit, but, like, he was very territorial over her.
Mm.
But if she wasn't there, like, he was the greatest dog ever. Um but now our golden retriever, I have 2 girls and my wife, so I have a house full of girls, and when we rescued the dog, I was like, "Man, maybe I'll get lucky and be able to have a boy dog." Nope.
Oh.
But she loves me, and it's clear, like I am her favorite. I don't know why. It might be that we run every day, every morning together, except for this morning. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't wake up this morning. The alarm clock just didn't go off. So I'm looking for a workout. So what's on the schedule for you today? What's the workout of the day? Maybe I'll
So
do that.
So this morning, admittedly, like mobility is one of my weaknesses. So what I've been working on is the mornings when I have time. So like I'm not on shift today. I'm not teaching at the academy today. So I was able to like take it a little easier this morning. And I woke up, got 30 minutes just walking on the treadmill, and then 30 minutes just like pulling up some yoga in an app, and 30 minutes of like shoulder stretching and yoga focused on the shoulders. So that's what I started with. And then I'm planning on before I coach today, just because the afternoon's a little busy with coaching and whatnot. Just following the class programming. We got some back squats, and we got some like basic CrossFit. It's a rounds for time of back squats from the ground and burpees over the bar.
Nice
Yeah,
little couplet.
big
What's
leg
the
day today.
what's the format?
Format. I
Don't say it like a
pull it up real quick.
12-minute AMRAP of this couplet, and I'll just
I think it's like 5 rounds with maybe like a 10-ish minute cap. Yeah, 5 rounds for 10-minute cap. 10 back squats from the floor, 10 burpee facing box jump overs. And yeah, that's coming from CrossFit 401 in Rhode Island. Been working with
nice.
them on the programming.
Nice. I
So
think I could move the barbell a little bit and do some burpees over a box.
yeah.
Just 5 rounds, right?
Yeah, look, 10
What could
minutes.
go
Yeah, you're only gonna suffer so long.
wrong? Like one of my biggest like hates for CrossFit is a couplet, like a 10 to 14-minute AMRAP couplet of just like 2 movements that you can move and not like you would feel bad if you broke it up and stopped, um, because it's just like, death is coming.
Mhm.
It's just coming. Like, I think one of the worst open workouts was the snatch double under workout or the thruster double under workout, just because it was just like these 2 movements. Like, I don't need to break these up, but I want to so bad.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
Um, but Kirsten, I'll give you a chance now before you bounce to plug or promote anything that you got going on, because I know you got a lot. So the floor is yours.
All right. Well, one of the ways that's helping me earn my way to go and play grid is the health coaching, nutrition coaching I do. Um, I use a precision nutrition method, and which is like client centered. Like, you lead the way, and I'm just here to guide you, whether it's like nutrition goals, physical fitness goals, or just overall wellness. So that's a big thing I'm doing on the side to help earn my way to grid. And I'm in talks with a couple different companies for sponsorships, but I'm still kind of fleshing out my sponsors for the year. So
Gotcha.
it's an opportunity for lots of eyes on your brand.
So when it comes to nutrition, a lot of people have like niche like areas where, like they're focusing on like X type foods or athletes only or women only, or but for you, are you have a focus on anything, or anybody that wants nutrition advice or help or coaching, like they can come to you?
Yeah, so it needs to be someone who's ready and willing to make a change. Like, I don't prescribe anything that like the person hasn't come up with on their own. I find the most success with people who come ready and willing to make change, and possibly aren't tied to like their ideas of what like a diet has been in the past, or like they've always tracked macros, but then I fall off because I can't stay consistent. Maybe we can explore why that tracking macros might not be the best approach for you. So someone with an open mind, but someone who's ready, able, and willing to make change.
Absolutely. That's the big thing. Like when you're looking to help people, and it's not about like helping people for like this small amount of time. They make a couple of changes and then they see some results and then they're like, all right, I think I'm good. No, like it's the long term being able to sustain it, but really digging into, why you fall off to begin with. Like you mentioned, like the root cause of why you can't follow a program. Not that you need me to tell you exactly what to do. I want to do more than help you with that. I want to dig down to the root cause. That way, once you figure out the root cause of why things don't go the way they do, or why they go the way they go, then you can start figuring out like a long-term like lifestyle change and transformation. And that's when you get the power of what you do as a coach, is being able to transform lives, not just for a short amount of time, but for a long period of time. So
Absolutely. I tell
um
people it's kind of a terrible business model. Like, I want to build you up to a point where like you don't need me. So
right.
that's my goal.
The toughest thing, and you see it all the time, like owning a gym. You get an influx of people at the beginning of every year, and it, trickles down, and you try like to catch the ones who are ready to be caught and change their life so that, yeah, like they come back over and over and every day and they appreciate it. What you don't want is someone to come in and go, all right, I'm ready. And then they leave and then they come back and go, I wasn't ready then, but now I'm ready. And then they leave and come back and they go, no, I'm definitely ready now. So it's like a really tough balance. But I definitely respect and appreciate everything you do. Anybody that gets into fitness for whatever reasons that they do, whether that's owning a gym, nutrition, mindset coaching, like you name it. Like if you're in it, like I appreciate all that you do, because it's definitely a very important and very needed profession, and it's just helping people live longer lives. So shout out to you and what you do. And I appreciate you carving out some time. I know, the Google Calendar. I don't know how much time you carved out for me, but hopefully we made it work and you can get on to the next one. And I'll try my best to make you proud with my 5 rounds of back squats and burpee over the box jumps today.
Yeah.
So,
Love
'cause
to hear how it goes.
yeah, that's what's coming. So I will keep you posted. But
All right.
Kirsten, I appreciate it. Have a safe, successful, and nice, smooth year in grid. I mean, getting back into it, doing your thing. I hope everybody, takes you in with open arms, and the sport is exactly what it was before you left, and you're able to get back into that comp mode and have
Yeah.
something to train for. And
I'm very excited.
if there's anything I can do for you, reach out. And, if there's anything you want me to plug or promote for you, I'll be willing to do that as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That is Kirsten Therrien, everybody. If you like hearing her story or you just like hearing Average Joes talk X's and O's, please share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on X, listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. You can, head over to YouTube right now. You can click like, you can hit subscribe, you can hit notifications. That way you're one of the first to know when new content is uploaded, because it's going up daily. The network, we have gymnastics, college gymnastics, we have college baseball, we have professional baseball, we have college volleyball, college tennis, college soccer, you name it. We've got athletes of all levels, professional to college. We even got some of the biggest recruits in high school coming on to tell us their story, but also to get their name, get their brand out there. But that's been the show today. I appreciate everybody's support. Valentine's is coming up. Make sure you get your Chinook seeds for college baseball season. Make sure you're going to Memphis City, getting your in off the bench gear. Make sure you're stopping by, seeing Dr. Vic Robinson with the magic hands, and drink responsibly. Head over to Old Dominic Distillery, grab a bottle, go online, pick up a couple. You never know when you might need a nice little nightcap. Man, stressful day, long day. Who knows? I know Kirsten may not believe that fits into the macro plan or the nutrition plan, but you got to live sometimes. So check out Old Dominic. They got you covered. And we'll see everybody Thursday. Until then, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.